Hello students, welcome back to my channel Lightup Knowledge and very warm welcome to today's video. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we will study euphemism, which is a literary term. So this topic happens to be very important for the purpose of your UGC NET English Literature exam, as we will study some classic examples of the topic drawn from the field of literature. And there is a separate playlist of the literary terms and devices. So I will link that in the description box. Now let's get started. So, what is euphemism? An inoffensive expression. Inoffensive means something which is polite, used in the place of a blunt one. Blunt is sharp one, that is felt to be disagreeable or embarrassing. So when you use some polite statement instead of some harsh words, sharp or harsh words, because those harsh or sharp word would look very disagreeable or very embarrassing that way, and therefore so instead of that you use very polite words to address. So euphemism consists basically in the description of a disagreeable thing by an agreeable name. So in other words, we can say that it consists in saying an unpleasant thing in a pleasant manner. Okay, something which is not pleasant, but you are telling that in something which is agreeable, which is more polite, which is more soft, okay, in the approach. And basically it covers the truth or say something mild, but we know that the reality is harsh. Okay, it is a polite way of speaking, but we know somewhere that the reality is harsh. Okay, so basically these are manipulated, euphemisms are manipulated forms of statement, but these manipulations are done to make people not to see at ugly side of things. Okay, so it is a polite way of expression or talking. So let us proceed towards its examples. The first one is, he was his majesty's guest for 5 years. So instead of saying that the man went as a guest and remained in his court for 5 years, that is a very long time for a guest to stay, so instead he said quoted these words. Next one is, China is a country where you often get different account of the same thing, means that many lies are told there. So let us study some common examples of euphemism. The first one is pass by. When you want to say that the person is dead or he is no more, the person is dead would sound very harsh, so instead we use that so and so person passed away. Gosh. So instead of taking God's name now and again in vain, so we use oh gosh instead of oh God. The next one is substance addict. Substance addict means that the person is drug addict. So instead of saying that he's a drug addict directly, which would charge something to his personality, therefore you use words like substance addict. Next is between jobs. So when you are unemployed, so you would rather say that I am between jobs. The next one and the last one is armed intervention. So armed intervention means what? So instead of describing directly like the bloodshed, we can use armed intervention for war. So why do writers use euphemism? So basically they, like other literary devices, they use euphemism. Why do they use euphemisms? First of all, they use it to carefully craft characters. So they define the nature of characters through words, and therefore they use euphemism. Next, of course, they enhance dialogues because characters speak dialogue, and for that he uses devices like euphemism. Next is, this is done to create beautiful images to words. Instead of directly using some harsh vocabulary, they use euphemism. Using euphemism, there are different reasons why an author might use a euphemism in writing. Basically, just like that, there are reasons for people to use euphemism in everyday speech. So these reasons are, the first one is, euphemisms are polite. So polite euphemisms are often used to avoid describing very harsh things such as death or bodily functions, basically like going to toilet, etc. The second one is, euphemism add color to writing. When euphemism are used to add color to a literary work, they may be unusual or humorous phrases we can say. Euphemism can create ambiguity is confusion. Okay, so if euphemism is used particularly to be ambiguous, so readers may have to pay attention to catch the actual uh, words. Okay, next is euphemism can provide emotional charge. So characters avoid saying what they would really like to say by using a euphemism. Instead, it can create some tension and heightened emotion in a literary work. So these were the uses of euphemism. So let us study some classic examples from the field of English literature. So when you approach a topic as a literary term or a device, you should always focus on the examples of English literature, the from the history of the literaturist, because when you study those, you know the content of those and the literary term used in those works. Okay, so it is very important when you approach for exams like UGC NET. So the example one is drawn from William Shakespeare's Merry Wives of Winston, 1602, and the example goes like this: I cannot tell what the Dickens' name is. So basically, here he wanted to say that you cannot call a devil by his name, you cannot call a devil a devil. The next example is from Hamlet's Soliloquy, To Be or Not to Be, where he describes shuffle off as mortal coil. So therefore, now in this example, he is describing death. So these were some examples drawn from classic example drawn from the great literaturist William Shakespeare. So this was all for today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video and you also found it useful. And if you did, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends and family, especially those friends who shared the same topic as you. And I will also link the playlist, the name of the playlist, the link of the playlist in the description box. Keep learning and keep growing.